Alright, so this is my first example of working with an image in Photoshop. So this is a picture, a photo of a scan of sketch that I've done. And what I want to do is obviously I want to remove the background and I want to make it straight and I want to remove some of the other effects I have here. Um, so to start with, what I want to do is, because I know this actually is on a straight piece of paper, and as you can see from how I've been holding my camera, it doesn't look quite straight. I will I will make a copy of this layer. So I'll just right click on the background and I'll do duplicate layer and it will create a background copy, and I will say this will be my base layer. The reason I'm doing this and I'm leaving my background as it is just in case I do something, in case I essentially messed up completely. I can always just turn it off and go back to the original, and if I need to copy something in, do something like that. You don't need to do it this way. I'm just that's sort of like the workflow I usually follow. And now what I want to do is I actually want to stretch it so so it is the correct shape. Alright, so what I want to do now is I want to transform the image so that it's straight. At first I'll use my ruler bars and I'll pull a guide. So if you just click onto the ruler and you pull across, you will see that the guide comes along. And I want to put it next to this line because I want to actually make sure this line is straight once I've straightened up my image. I don't really have any lines that are straight vertically, so I'll just go with this and see how I get on. So I go under edit and where is it? I want to find, oh sorry, I need to select my layer, of course, and then I go under edit and transform and skew. So here what skew does, it basically skews the image depending on how you draw the controls. So as you see there, I'm looking at the line in the middle and I'm basically pulling it until it looks kind of straight. I'll just do the same on the other side, see if it's straight enough. It seems alright. Obviously, as it is a hand sketch, it's not gonna be perfectly straight. However, you can always use the controls to make the image um, look the way you intend it to look. And I'll hit enter. So here I have it. I've straightened it up a little bit, which is yeah, which is pretty good. So next thing I want to do is I want to adjust my colors. So I will go under image adjustments, and so one way to do it is to go under image adjustments, and as you can see there's loads of options you can do with your with your picture, and you can also just you have some auto options here inbuilt in Photoshop. So if I went for auto contrast, you will see that it sort of like lightens the image up a little bit, and by using Control Z I can easily see between the two which what happened. It's probably not as great as I wanted it to be, so I'll just go further down into adjustments, and I'll go into color balance here, for example, and again I can change things slightly to the color I want. Obviously in this one, not exactly what I want. And another thing I want to note is that while because I'm doing it here on my layer, it basically sort of like merges it with the layer. So I don't have, if I decided to change my adjustments afterwards, I don't really have much choice but what I've done. So the better workflow would be to go under here, and you will see um, you will see that you have your the same adjustments here. But if you click, for example, on um, let's do the color balance again, and instead of editing the picture, it actually edits the adjustment layer, which is over this layer. So I've clicked on this now. I can go into change it around the way I want to. Obviously, this is not what I'm going for, but I'm just exaggerating to show you what happens. However, if I decide this adjustment is not working for me, I can always come back to it and change it, and my base layer still stays intact. And if I decide I don't like something about it, I can quite easily just switch it off or delete it, and I have an original image. So if you do any adjustments, I would suggest using it as an adjustment layer rather than um, doing it doing it on the layer itself, unless it's a very quick edit that you're doing on a picture and you know you just need it edit and you're not never gonna come back to it again. So it's fine to obviously do that way. I'll delete it now. So what I want to do now, I want to actually make the white because I know this has been drawn on white paper, so there's really, and it looks sort of like slightly grayish green on my screen, and obviously once I put it in a portfolio presentation, it's just not gonna look that great. I'll go here under my adjustment layers, and what I will do, I'll choose the curves one. So this is quite a powerful one with editing all kinds of colors and bits in your drawings and or images. And once you get into image editing, you will see that there is loads of options. So if I just drag this curve around, you can see that I can manually sort of like brighten up the image by removing colors I don't want. Okay, I'll go back. What I actually want to do here is to use the white sample eyedropper. So you can see there is a black one, there is a gray one, and there's a white one. And what the white one does, it basically, wherever I click on the image, it will assume that to be white, so the sort of like perfect white, it will be the color that I pick on, and it will adjust the other colors of the image accordingly. So if I click it here, you see it makes the white, except where this so like shadow is, this is where I was holding my phone, and obviously you can see there's a bit of a sort of blue shadow. So if I click it in here, it essentially makes my image probably a bit more white, and I might be losing some detail over here, but you know, it's slightly better than it was before, and I'll just do it here. I'll leave as it is for now. What I actually might do, I might add a mask and edit it afterwards a little bit more. But you can see if I switch it off, you can see the massive difference it has made, and I've actually lightened up my image, and I have got to the more bright, the more contrast, and the white is actually white. I could actually, if I wanted to, I could actually add another one of these. So I'll just add another curves one. And if I click in here, this actually adds a layer mask. So if I have selected this part, and now I go into my marquee. Actually, no, I will go with the lasso tool. So I'll select this part around my image, which I'm still not quite happy with. And I will do, I'll select, where is it, my paint bucket tool. So what I will do now is I will go into this, this is a layer mask, so for this adjustment layer I can create a mask, and I'll go into my lasso tool here, and I will draw the shape, which, okay, I have already drawn, I'll just deselect it so I can follow what I'm doing here. And once I've drawn it, I will hit delete on my keyboard, and you will see what actually happens is this sort of like area blacks out on the mask. And now if I clicked onto the mask itself and I change some curves, you can see what happens is the area around it changes, which is actually the opposite of what I was trying to do. So I'll just go back, and you see this is I've deleted the mask here. If I click Control Shift and I, it actually inverts my selection to the outside of it, so you can see it has a selection around and selection around here. And if I hit delete on that part now, sorry, I need to select my mask, and if I hit delete now, you will see that everything is black, so it means that this where the mask doesn't apply, and the white bit is actually where the mask applies. So if I go here now, and let's say do the same eyedropper tool, it will lighten up, but it will only lighten up this part of the image. And if I deselect, you can see that obviously it's not perfect because there's some gap here, but I have actually made this sort of like whiter without compromising the rest of it. I'll just go back in here and I will slightly edit where the actual white sits on my drawing until I get it to the point where I want. Okay, so I'm reasonably happy with this. I'm still not happy with the top, so I might just create a new adjustment layer on top, and I will actually drag it to the very top, and I'll create a new mask around this, I assume it's a tree branch, and Control Shift I, so invert my selection, I hit delete, and you can see I only have mask on there. And if I select the white, I'll select the white, and that's it, the yellow is gone. Excellent, so I still have some little errors here which I could fix, but obviously this is, if I now group these all together just so it's easier to see what I've done, I'll add it as white adjustment. If I turn it off, that's my original image, and this is what I've done here. Obviously, massive difference. And the last thing I want to do is actually I want to crop my image, and I will do what I can do. I can just do a ratio, which I can hopefully, yeah, I can, no, it's fixed. All right, where is it? So I can hopefully just, yeah, I can just drag it around here as I want, and I want to keep this amount of detail. Okay, hit enter, and this is my my finished, well, this is as finished as I have it now, and I can obviously now add it to my portfolio and stuff, and you will see that this the white areas are actually white, and it's much a clearer, crisper image, which is probably what I would get if I scanned it straight away, but because I didn't have a scanner and then I had really bad light, just by using a couple tools I have actually created an image which is pretty decent, which I can now go on to add more annotation if I want more detail, and I can add it in my portfolio. So I will use actually the same image that I have created in Photoshop, and what I will do, I will actually drag it into Illustrator, and I will show you how to image trace, and this is a really good option for line drawings. Probably not very complex ones, but however, if you have sketches or diagrams which are just a couple quick lines, you can actually vectorize stuff in Illustrator automatically, and it allows you to not lose quality, and you can add stuff to it in Illustrator and actually make your diagrams more complex and more digitally looking rather than just using them as scans. So I'm here in Photoshop with my previous image. I will go into File, Save As, and I will call it, let's call it Sketch 1, and I will save it as, I'll just save it as a JPEG for now. Could save some, yeah, JPEG will do, and I'll maximize the quality because I know I have quite a powerful computer, so it's gonna be fine in high quality for me as well. So now what I will do, I'll open Illustrator. Alright, so in Illustrator, I'll open a new document, and it's being a bit slow. Let's wait. Okay, here we are. So, okay, I'll stick with A4 at the moment, and because I know my image that I want to edit is roughly in portrait orientation, I'll just leave it as A4. Actually, one thing I want to change is I want it to be RGB, just so it all matches. And now I'll have where I have my folder with the drawing I just made in Photoshop. I'll just drag it onto here, and obviously it's massive. I just zoom out and scale it down a little bit, so it fits inside on the page. Alright, and now I will image trace this. So what image trace does, it takes rasterized image and it actually analyzes the colors and sort of like creates lines and strokes and fills based on that background image. You can do this basically with any image you would like, however, if the larger the image, the more time it's going to take. So if it's just a simple little diagram, it will only take a couple seconds, maybe a couple minutes, but if it's a large complex photo, it might just crash your computer, so make sure you save whatever you're doing before that, especially if you're sort of like experimenting and trying it out. So I'll select this here. I have my image trace options. It does have, you can set it up as advanced as you want yourself, and so yeah, obviously this is already giving me a warning. I'll be fine with it, and I'll go with so it's already starting to do and this is basically the result. So this is not great, because obviously I've lost some of the line definition which I had in my original drawing. I'll hit ignore white because this will then allow me to only keep the black lines of my sketch. And now I can play around with the settings because as I said, there's some definition missing, and you can either go into your existing presets or you can just create your own. So I'll just play around with the settings a little bit until I find something that I'm quite happy with. So I have played around a little bit with my settings, and what I have here, I have increased the threshold. I can try and increase it just a little bit more, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so compared to the original, this is quite close to what I had. However, now it is, instead of it being a vector, it's actually a rasterized image. And the great thing it allows me to do is, okay, so I finish here, I'll click expand. And as you can see, it is all sort of like selected as an Illustrator shapes. And it has created a bunch of fills, which is, you can go to strokes as well, but in this case it doesn't really matter, and obviously it allows me now greater editing in Illustrator, and because it's a vector, it can be scaled indefinitely. So even if it was a little tiny sketch on the corner of a tissue, I could now print it on like a A0 poster, and it would be fine. It would be really nice, crisp definition, and also obviously has lost all of the white background, so whatever uneven stuff I had on the paper, that is absolutely not a problem anymore. And now if I select it, for example, I want to change the color of my lines to green, that's it, my drawing is now green. So this is a very, very useful function Illustrator, and you can do so many things with it. So this is just an example of obviously quite a basic sketch, but what I've done here is now created it so that I can actually work with it and do something fun. So if I wanted to, it's all grouped. If I just, I can double click and go into group, or just Control Shift and G, which ungroups the first grouping. So yeah, image trace usually creates quite like a bunch of groups, so you might need to go inside and do something. But if I wanted to, let's say, change these to windows to something else, you just do it with a couple of clicks, and it's still your drawing, it's still your work. And what I've done is I've just made it more digitally available, and now I can manipulate it digitally. And if I wanted to add more lines or add something else, or if I had in fact multiple drawings and I wanted to add them together, this would allow me to do it. And also because it's only lines now, so if I were to put something in the background, as a photo of some texture or something, or just if I was making a collage and I wanted to add this as a line drawing on top of it, I could very easily do it. So I'll create a new layer, and I'll do it as a background layer. So I'll lock this drawing here for now, and I'll just drag in. So this is a picture. Oh, sorry, I did it the wrong way. Anyhow, I'll drag it into this original one here. Just paste it. Of course, it's a small raster image because I just found one quickly. But to show you, because obviously now this is line work, I can easily add a background, whichever background I would like. I just chose this image, because I just got it on my computer, so it was quite easy for me to find it. And actually, if I want, now what I want to do is I want to change my drawing to white. Alright, and here we are. I have my sketch and I have my nice background, and I've done it in a couple of automated functions in Illustrator, and I also did something in Photoshop. So this is a nice, interesting workflow how you can actually create something. But just by using stuff you already have, you can actually use the tools available to you digitally to advance your artwork and to make it more unique, more interesting, and also to vectorize a raster image, so it allows you wider application, and also it doesn't limit you to the actual original size of your drawing or the scan of it. You can then vectorize it and make it larger, make it whatever you would like it to. So this is the end of this tutorial. Yeah, I hope you found it useful, and I hope you find these functions useful in your work in general. Thank you.